These are the familiar sights and sounds of an approaching train. But how many of us get the chance to experience these marvels of engineering up close? Okay, not that close. But here at the Orange Empire Railway Museum in Paris, you can experience the heritage and history of the railroad. Located on 95 acres, the indoor and outdoor museum is privately funded and operates with the help of donations and volunteers, like these young people from the California Military Institute who are here today helping with a special event. Touring us around this day was Paul Peters.
We're one of the only 2 museums in the whole country that has both streetcars and trains running.
How about that for an interactive exhibit? You can actually sample a ride on this completely restored 1930s Los Angeles streetcar.
And over the years we've continued collecting a lot of cars and streetcars, and pretty much any streetcar that exists in Southern California we try to preserve in our collection.
Of course, no trip to the Orange Empire Railway Museum would be complete without a ride on this authentic steam engine. Something that Paul Tyner, his wife Carol, and son Brett experienced firsthand.
Yeah, if you've got children, you've got to come out here, especially if you live somewhere in Southern California. It's a great place to come to get the excitement going for your children.
Well, that's a steam locomotive that we acquired a number of years ago. It's a 1921 Baldwin. It's a 262 configuration for those of you train buffs. It's one that we've run in continuous operation ever since. Our goal and our whole existence for being here is to preserve rail history for the future generations.
Helping to preserve that history are men like Dan, Greg, and Bill. Besides being railroad enthusiasts, they are just 3 of the volunteers here who maintain and in some cases restore these pieces of railroad history. And you don't have to be an engineer to get involved.
99% of us show up with no experience whatsoever, just a desire to help, a love of history, a love of trains. So it's good to come out and get some blisters on my hands and get my hands dirty.
Volunteers are currently getting their hands dirty, restoring this dining car.
This is a very interesting car we have here. This is a 1928 Pullman car, a dining car, that was bought by the Union Pacific Railroad and ran into the late 50s. The museum just recently acquired this by a very generous donor who gave us enough money to buy the car, move it from Idaho, and completely restore it.
It may not look like much now, but when finished, it'll be quite the museum piece. Just like this 1920 streetcar that at one time was used for an entirely different purpose.
And it actually allowed the families of deceased individuals to travel with their coffin from the funeral home to the cemetery. But during its heyday, it was a very popular way of the families saying goodbye to the loved ones.
With the ongoing support of volunteers and an interested public, the museum will continue to educate folks on the West's rich railroad heritage.
We love it. We think it's great. You know, we didn't know this place existed, and we found it online, came and took a look at it, brought the kids. They're having a blast. We can't believe how big it is, how many trains there are, the good condition of those trains, and the fact that they let you touch them and climb aboard some of them is just a wonderful experience. We're having a great time.
From the city of Paris, this is Glenn Ross.